Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today we're taking a look at a new moon in Aquarius, and it is occurring at 4:43 p.m. Eastern Time on January 24th, 2020. We'll take a look at what I've written for the forecast for the day and the energies surrounding that new moon. If you visit my site at alohaastro.com, you will be greeted by this pop-up that will save you $37 on a $125 recorded reading if you're wondering what your year ahead is like and you would like to have a very comprehensive reading of about 2.5 to 3 hours of recorded video that you can look back on during the course of the year. This is what that's all about. And this expires at the end of the month. So let's go take a look at what I've got here. New moon in Aquarius, Friday, January 24th, has all the strangeness of a science fiction novel, as the moon and sun square Uranus and Taurus, while Mars in Sagittarius squares Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Changes in your future, and you may be eager for the liberating feeling that accompanies a fresh start, as the moon in Aquarius forms a sextile to Chiron in Aries, and Mars in Sagittarius forms a sextile to Mercury in Aquarius. Those sextiles are minor supportive aspects, but the freedom-loving Aquarius moon, the analytical, future-oriented Mercury in Aquarius, the risk-taking Mars in Sagittarius, and the brazen upstart Chiron in Aries can start a fire born of intention and ideas that burns the old to make way for the new. Although crazy is normal under an Aquarius moon transit, Jupiter in Capricorn sextile to Venus and Neptune in Pisces provides structured growth and spiritual protection and support. I chose this book cover image initially for the space cows because the Aquarius moon is square its ruling planet Uranus in Taurus, and because I loved the subtitle, This New World Couldn't Be Fenced In, which I feel aptly describes our present world as well as collective and individual consciousness that rises up to break free under Aquarius energy. When I read the Wikipedia synopsis of the book, I discovered the plot revolves around politicians, a trial, and the legality of assassination. How strange is that? So here's the picture, and it's really kind of, kitsch and funny, definitely sci-fi from back in the late 50s, early 60s. I believe this was published in 1958. And very interesting plot and storyline if you want to look it up for yourself. I just find it a really odd coincidence that when I go looking for images that I feel reflect the energy of the planetary transits, I just kind of venture forth and start putting in words, keywords, and looking for things. And I put in space cows, and this came up under space cows. I was thinking along the lines of Taurus and Aquarius and future-oriented, and how we had some fantasy overlapping with the Piscean energy going on, the Venus Neptune in Pisces, and then Mars in Sagittarius is real, swashbuckling. And I thought, my gosh, what a really mixed bag of strange energy we have going on right now. And there's a really mixed bag of strange energy in that picture there. So interesting. I don't know if I'll ever read the book, but it just seems so apt for what's going on in our political climate today. And I really don't want to make this political because it just seems there's so much polarity right now around politics, and I would rather not get into all of that. You can see I was up very late last night writing. I did a little bit of dyslexia there and got my words mixed up. So bear with me. A little bit tired today too. I find new moons and full moons, do you have a hard time sleeping? I definitely do. So let's take a look at the Planet Watcher. Here we go. So 4:23, actually, is it 4:23 or 4:43 is supposed to be the time? Well, we're close enough here. I think it's 4:43 though. Yeah, okay, there it is exactly. At 4:43 p.m., we have both the moon and the sun conjunct in Aquarius at 22 degrees, respectively, and we find Saturn and Pluto conjunct each other in Capricorn, but they're kind of floating on their own there. They're bracketed by Jupiter in Capricorn, but that's not a tight conjunction, and by the sun and the moon, but again, we're at 10 degrees here and we're at 11 degrees there. So they're kind of floating around by themselves right now. They are not getting a lot of support anywhere, and they're losing a lot of their power. They're still, of course, powerful planets. Saturn is duty and responsibility and authority. It's very patriarchal and old school, especially in Capricorn, which is its ruling sign. And then we have Pluto in Capricorn, and Pluto is power, crisis, transformation, upheaval, control. It's very intense. It will intensify any planet it joins. So in that conjunction to Saturn, we have a lot of, think of anything very strong, and then anything that wants to break stuff or explode. And that's the type of energy that we've got going on. And the old foundations are particularly the things that are being tested now, and the dark side or the shadow side of things will definitely come up to be seen. So that's what we've got with those two planets, but they are kind of losing some of the energy they had just a few weeks ago when we had tighter conjunctions of the Sun and Mercury in Capricorn. Now they have moved forward into Aquarius, and people want to change. And there's new ways of looking at things, and there's much more liberating energy and a sense of independence that comes with Aquarius. And that is definitely triggering these sextiles that I mentioned, where we have all that quickening air and fire. And all it really takes is a spark to turn into a huge bonfire when something begins, and then it can suddenly reach that flash point. And I have the feeling that this new moon is bringing about flash points. And again, if you follow the world news, you can see that there are things right now that I feel are at flash points. Time for change, time for freedom and independence is what that new moon in Aquarius is saying. These are favorable aspects. They are considered benign. Sextiles are minor. It's just that we have that strong combination of the Mars-ruled Aries, and then we have Mars in a fire sign in Sagittarius, where it's ready to go into battle on principles, is ready to pursue ideals and truth, and basically will take a risk or a chance on those things. And Chiron in Aries is particularly body-oriented, physically oriented, and there will be those who are willing to risk lives right now on principles based on those two aspects. Now, that might not be you in your individual life, but if there's anything that you are really fixated on, or that you feel is very important, maybe you've never been an activist and now you're feeling activist energy, and you decide that it's time to do something you've never done before, like join a demonstration or a march. That is one way that might manifest on a personal level in your life. The Aquarian energy, it rules the 11th house of friends, groups, organizations, society as a whole. And we're looking at global stuff when we're looking at Aquarius. The same thing with the Pisces energy. These three signs are all the highest octaves of earth, air, and water. And the progression of consciousness, if we follow the signs around from Aries, just beginning, starting out, and then we come to the last three of these signs up here, we have a lot of focus on not us as individuals, but us in relation to everything bigger out there, and how do we fit into society, and what is our role, and how are things going to affect us on a global level or a community level. We're much more looking out there right now than we might be looking within. If we are doing some looking within through the Pisces energy, we may be doing things like needing time to sleep or go into meditation or to pray or any of the things that are going to keep us grounded on a spiritual level. And this one sextile here is very helpful. Jupiter is a protective planet, and it can be very steadying in Capricorn in this sextile to Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Now, for those looking for some romance, this can help your relationship. It can help you find a good partner that may be a long-lasting love. It can also deepen the bonds of commitment in existing relationships, so that is generally favorable. At the same time, we have a square going on between Mars in Sag and Venus conjunct Neptune, and some people may be disappointed in love. This is often a breakup type of an aspect, or suddenly realizing that you want love and romance, but the other person wants to have fun and have sex, and the two things just aren't in alignment. So depending on what you're wanting in relationship, you may or may not be going further in a relationship. And if things are not balanced between you and the other person, and you don't both want the same things, then expect that you'll have some breakup, some freedom and independence coming up, where somebody says, you're just, you're smothering me, or you're too clingy. If you're feeling all Venus and Neptune and Pisces, and the other person is feeling all Mars and Sagittarius and just wants to have fun, then there's a problem. But this one sextile here with Jupiter in Cap and Venus and Neptune in Pisces can actually increase feelings of romance, love, affection, security, and stability in relationship if it's a good one already. And if it's not, expect that there might be some break off and need for independence that might not be to your liking. Can definitely be a wake-up time when the moon is in Aquarius, and things can radically change. Things that you thought were a certain way, or people, and suddenly they're not, or the whole situation changes very unexpectedly, hard to predict or hard to see. Surprises. Sometimes the surprises are favorable, but the one thing I see in here that helps you through surprises is that sextile to Chiron in Aries, that no matter how stressful the uncertainty of times is right now, this shows strong resilience and self-protection, self-awareness and self-protection, resiliency, the ability to bounce back or fight back or stand your ground or put yourself first if you need to do that. And hopefully you find a way to be self-aware and to be able to express yourself in a group of like-minded people, that you find your clan or your tribe or your group, or that you are willing to support others in a common goal, which is the best use of this Aquarius new moon in that sextile to Chiron in Aries. So good things can come out of it. There are things that might be radically different coming out of this new moon, and there are definitely things that I think are of on a bigger society level very unstable. And I think a spark has started, and a fuse has been lit, and we will have to see how the next 2 weeks go as we move forward to the next lunation. So pay attention, wake up, look around. This is a very alert moon and a time of looking into information, knowledge, truth, staying informed. That's all part of the Aquarius energy. It looks towards the future, and it looks toward the connections between people, especially in a group or society. Let's take a look at the Sabian symbol. A council of ancestors is seen implementing the efforts of a young leader. the root foundation of past performances which power and sustain whatever decision is made in a crisis by an individual. The whole past of mankind stands behind any individual effort, especially in times of critical decisions. The endeavor of the priests who built the California missions had behind it the whole past of Catholic proselytizing, i.e., the attempt to bring the good news to all people of the earth. Every individual is far more dependent upon the strength of their ancestors' achievements or oppressed by their failures and lack of vision than they usually believe. This can mean a hidden foundation of individual strength or the inertia of a tradition unable to transcend its limited origins. This is the last symbol in the 61st fivefold sequence. It suggests that in many situations, reliance upon precedents will enable the aspirant to greatness to tap the power of their deepest roots. I have the feeling with what we've got going on astrologically right now, we're seeing more of the change that's coming up through the recognition of oppression and lack of vision, and that the things as they were and the older ancestral or more foundational things are being examined, and right now I think they're a little bit under siege. Saturn, Pluto, and Cap is losing some of its support, and it looks like the Aquarius energy now is tipping over, and we can expect that people are going to become more and more tired or intolerant of oppression and limitations and misuse of power and abuse of power. We'll have to see how these planets continue to move forward and the aspect patterns they make in the days ahead as to what an eventual outcome will be. This square between Aquarius's ruling planet and the sun and the moon is not going to last very long. These are fast-moving planets, so that will fall apart in a couple of days. Let's see when we have... Okay, we still have moon in Aquarius on Saturday the 25th. And I may actually skip writing a forecast that day because basically nothing much changes. We still have the moon in the same positions, making the same aspects. Maybe I'll catch up on a bit of sleep. The 26th, we still have moon in Aquarius, but now it's beginning to break away from Mercury, move forward. 27th, and you can see how that square is fading. Now we have a shift in energy. This weekend may be a time for a lot of people to just pay attention, be aware, look at what's going on, think, analyze before you make any major decisions and move forward and come out of the dark of the new moon. Wait until Monday when you have the moon joining Neptune and Venus, and you would better know what your heart really wants you to do. So spend the time up in that analytical air sign in your head, and then move into the heart to make your final decision for any changes as you go into Monday the 27th. That would be my recommendation. And I do think I'll be skipping a day to tonight, not writing for tomorrow, because we have basically the same patterns, nothing different between there and there. Pretty much the very same forecast as I wrote for today. Everybody be safe, and I will talk to you soon when we get to the full moon coming up in 2 weeks' time.